So as most of you have been watching the channel for quite a while would know, I have been a massive advocate for more Hulk content in the MCU. It's just very, very unfortunate that Marvel had a couple of rough years there where they were really focusing on smaller characters and smaller movies like Eternals and Marvels, and ultimately a lot of them just didn't really work out at all, and most of them were bad, while they were kind of sidelining their bigger name characters who they still are yet to do a lot with, such as the Hulk. But again, it seems like my prayers have been answered by Marvel Jesus Kevin Feige, because it looks like the MCU is finally actually doing something with the Hulk, with recent leaks coming out from a graphic designer and a graphic artist for Marvel, which confirm that in Avengers Doomsday, we will be getting a lot of Hulk content, including this leaked picture, of course, of what looks to be still Professor Hulk, which, you know, some people are happy about. Most people, you know, would rather still see the big, mean, angry green guy come out, but also She-Hulk here standing next to him alongside his son Scar. And again, in the background, you can actually see a ton of people that obviously look green. And what is really interesting about this, and why I'm kind of really noting on it and talking about it, is because if you actually go through the Secret Wars comics, there's actually a place called Greenland, which of course is basically a bunch of Hulk-like people and a bunch of people affected by the gamma radiation. And this is essentially where they stay. Of course, there's some locations here like the Barrens of the Tribal Hulks. We got Fang Mountain, Gamma Lake, the Badlands, Mud Kingdom, Port Banner, and She-Hulk Shore, along with the Sea of Monsters down the bottom. So again, this had me very, very curious. I'm essentially just sitting in, I'm like, well, where are they going to go with this in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars? How is this going to affect the Hulk, and what kind of Hulk content are we actually going to be seeing here? And of course has come with another leaker saying that Bruce Banner and Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, will be part of a small World War Hulk arc in Avengers Doomsday. So it looks like everyone who has been kind of asking them to, of course, you know, make a World War Hulk movie and whatnot, could actually finally be getting that with some content that is going to point in that direction. Again, I think that eventually, as these Avengers movies do go, it's going to start off with Professor Hulk, and he's going to be doing his thing with She-Hulk. And I think they're really going to have a much more serious tone instead of the really lame comedy that we got from She-Hulk. And I just hope that her character can actually adapt to that, as well as seeing what's going on with Scar and his character, and of course now all these other Hulk and gamma radiation people who are living in this, you know, Greenland area. Again, having some World War Hulk parts is still not the complete picture, because I do believe that we will be getting a World War Hulk movie pretty soon. I know that they don't have, I don't think, the rights to, of course, do it. I think the only character they don't have the rights to completely is obviously Spider-Man, but obviously as well Hulk, who still has some distribution rights, I believe, of Universal, and that's one of the big reasons we haven't had, you know, a movie in so goddamn long. But the thing is, with Marvel now realizing they need to focus on their bigger characters, we're already getting a ton of Hulk content in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, again, by these leaked concept art. But we also have just gotten a ton of Hulk content in Captain America Brave New World, where we got to see Thaddeus Ross and his Red Hulk, as well as one of the Hulk's main leaders, main villains, the leader, I should say, which, again, I think all of these kind of combining into one big thing. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next, you know, phase and saga of these Marvel movies, it will obviously be the Mutant Saga most likely, and we will have a lot to do with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. But I guarantee you right now, we are going to be seeing a ton more Spider-Man projects, and I think a lot more projects that hopefully have to do with the big green man, the Incredible Hulk. And yeah, this only gets me more and more excited. This picture of Hulk in this medieval setting in what looks to be Doctor Strange. I had one job, man. What looks to be in Doctor Doom's battle world is so awesome. Like, I haven't been this excited for a Hulk, adaptation project thing, whatever you want to call it, in quite a while. But you genuinely see that, yes, even though this is still Professor Hulk, he looks badass just standing right there. And I guess She-Hulk looks very different as well. Like, She-Hulk's look in the TV show, in my opinion, is absolutely, utterly shit. Like, I think the CGI is really bad. I think the look, in my opinion, is kind of bad. I think She-Hulk needs to be way bigger and a little bit more menacing and not supposed to be as, jokey as what she was in the show, which I know that is her character, and I know she does break the fourth wall a lot, but I really do think they need to have a much more serious tone, especially with what's going to be happening in Doomsday and Secret War. You got to be doing that, and she does look pretty serious here. It looks like it's a pretty serious scene. There's a girl in the background crying. Scar is like holding his stomach like he's being stabbed with something, and yeah, it just overly looks like what I want to see, and I think this should hopefully lead into maybe by the end of the movie or something, him turning back into the Hulk, and we actually get to see the Hulk and, go away from that Professor Hulk banner for a little bit there, because I think that's what the majority of us want, and I think it would be a little bit of a shame for us genuinely not to get that. And yeah, I think it'd also be a shame if She-Hulk was just this massive jokey character who just really took you out of the film and the immersion, which again, no one wants that, and I don't think they're going to be doing that at all. But again, Marvel is low-key saving the Hulk right now. They're doing little bits and pieces here and there. They realized that all the Hulk content was very minimal. She-Hulk sucked and no one liked it. And now we're going to be getting a lot of Hulk content in the Avengers movies. We got a lot of Hulk content in Captain America Brave New World, which I thought was very good. And now we're going to be getting future Hulk content, it does look to be, with hopefully a potential World War Hulk movie as well coming soon. There is a report going around right now that does say Marvel Studios is reportedly interested in developing a World War Hulk film and is actively searching for a director. George Miller has been in discussion with the studio regarding the project. Now, interesting we talk about George Miller here, because George Miller looks like he's actually actively getting involved with Marvel. And obviously George Miller has done a ton of really great productions like Mad Max Fury Road, the first Mad Max movie, obviously Furiosa, Happy Feet as well, like some really, really good stuff. And he's actually met with fellow Australian Chris Hemsworth to potentially discuss directing Thor 5 pretty early on in Phase 5 of the MCU. So obviously after 2025, 2026, and even early 2027, Marvel don't really have too many movies kind of lined up on what they are actually planning to do. And with the last Thor movie being an absolute train wreck, Chris Hemsworth has really said he wants to do a more serious tone Thor movie that's going to be really good. Again, George Miller is 79 years old, but I still think with some of the movies he's done that have been pretty decent, especially with Fury Road, a lot of people absolutely loving it. Not only would it be really awesome to see him do Thor 5, maybe end of 2027 or something like that, but how cool would it be to see if this movie was all successful and all good and Marvel have the faith in him, let him do a potential World War Hulk film. Now, I'm not too sure how they'd go about it, because from reports I've talked about on the channel as well, this would be an Avengers movie, and it would be called Avengers World War Hulk. And the real reason why it would be called an Avengers movie first and foremost is I believe Universal still own all rights to, the Hulk name, and the Hulk being a standalone name for a movie, the Incredible Hulk being a standalone name. all of that type of stuff. But I think if I have heard right, Marvel could get away with doing it as Avengers World War Hulk. So I think that's why Marvel would maybe go down that direction. But yeah, it would be weird not having the Russo brothers do an Avengers movie, but also kind of cool maybe just to get a different taste from a different director and see what's going to be different. Because at the end of the day, by the end of, you know, Doomsday and Secret Wars, we're going to have 6 Avengers movies, and you know, all 6 of them have been directed by only 2 directors. Oh, I guess 3 if you count the Russo, but you know what I mean. So maybe it would be cool to have a guy like George Miller, see if he can helm an Avengers movie and have it as a World War Hulk film that would have a lot of action and would be absolutely insane. Again, I've talked about on the channel before, Marvel do look like they're trying to have Hulk as a future main character and incorporate him as like probably a main character for the Mutant Saga alongside the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man. Because we know, yeah, Marvel are going to be focusing on their main characters, and they really didn't even focus on the Hulk that much in the first phase. The second phase, the Multiversal Saga, we know they didn't even really focus on Hulk that much in the first saga. The second saga really hasn't had any Hulk at all other than like She-Hulk. So the third saga, I think you really have to have Hulk as a main character, because people are kind of forgetting that he was like a part of the holy trinity of him, Wolverine, and Spider-Man for Marvel at one stage. So yeah, we got to start seeing some more Hulk stuff. Again, we know that the original Spider-Man 4 script looks like it's kind of leaked, and that Hulk was supposed to have a massive part in it, which thank God they're not doing that and they are rewriting it, because that sounds so stupid. And when we need Hulk projects, we need actual Hulk projects. We don't need him to be shoehorned into a Spider-Man story, which makes no sense. I want to see the World War Hulk story. I want to see the reported Wolverine versus Hulk movie that's been theorized for a while that could be coming in the Multiversal Saga as well. And I want to see all of these things. And I know people don't like Mark Ruffalo as much anymore, and a lot of people are saying he looks too old and he is too old to play Banner. That is kind of true, but also a lot of these stories are really just 90% Hulk predominant, like a World War Hulk story. I think even Wolverine vs. Hulk, I don't really think Bruce Banner has big parts in those stories, especially World War Hulk. So if they wanted to, they could really not have that much of Ruffalo at all. They could have Ruffalo in the movie for a little bit amount and just have him go and advertise the film and do the marketing. Again, there's always that way to shut the critics up on that and just finally give us an actual Hulk story. So I'm interested to see. I think George Miller would be an interesting director to take this helm. Again, he is old, so I would just suggest, well, let's do Thor 5 and see what happens, see if that's good. But if it does work, yeah, World War Hulk would be awesome, and then future plans for some other Hulk stuff, like a Wolverine vs. Hulk film would be really awesome. But again, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest gaming content, movie content, all of the above. And I guess I'll see you guys next time.